Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Racing today. With yours truly, HRT Rich, and our good friend, the handsome Hollywood Hay. Terry, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was really good. A lot of fun. The whole weekend was a lot of fun. We had a lot of visits with a lot of grandkids, things like that. So really good.
Hmm.
How
Good,
about
good to
you?
hear that. I went off to handicapping contest, and they're a little disappointing at times. On the first day, met some really nice people, father and son, Steve and Mel. Great people, own a lot of horses. Learned a lot from them. Another gentleman by the name of Steve sat with him again yesterday, and man, and Frank learned a lot from Frank too. Just this close yesterday
Oh,
in the last race at Laurel, I had a pick three where I had it 10 times, and I had the favorite. The favorite was going to pay, I think, around 260, 270, something like that, $270. If it won, I singled to that one. My next pick, unfortunately, won. I didn't have it. It paid $444. Would have
ooh,
been 10 times 440. The first day, I wouldn't have won, but I would have finished like in fifth or sixth place. I had a pick three at Golden Gate 10 times too.
oh wow.
And I had three horses in the favorite won that one. Unfortunately, I wish I would have flipped them around, but I had another horse though. If the longest shot had won, it would have paid me. I had that 10 times. It would have been like $1,800.
Hmm.
But man, what can you do, right? I mean, one of the and that, what frustrates me, Terry, this is probably the seventh or maybe eighth or sixth time in there where I was down to the last race or a race
Yeah.
where I just needed a horse to win that race. And if it wins, I qualify.
Oh,
And I'm like 0 for 8. It's like when I switch picks with Charles on the show. And, yeah, I don't know. That's frustrating, I think. But in any case, hey, today, Terry, over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, our free track of the day is Mahoning Valley. There is a link down in the description below. But I think more interesting today and tomorrow at Zia Park, they have a bunch of stakes races, 8 of them today, 7 tomorrow, over $1 million in purses both days. So make sure you catch those big purses on days with only 4 options. There should be some nice money pools over at Zia Park the next couple days. You can get a link to the free picks at Mahoning there. Also tonight on Horse Center at 8 p.m., Sean and I think Betty Joe, but maybe Lucy tonight. They will have on Gavin Ashton coming over from overseas, learning how to ride over in the United States. Young man is off to a decent start. So get to know him tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Horse Center. Terry, the best way to make sure you don't miss Horse Center is to do what?
well, you need to subscribe to YouTube and hit the little bell that tells you when all of our different shows are on. Give us a likes and thumbs up, and go down and click on that link and share that with all your family and friends. And even if they're not into horse racing, it might introduce them to horse racing. And then go to our social sites such as YouTube. Facebook, Twitter, which is X now, I guess,
Mhm.
Threads, Instagram, and also TikTok, and give us thumbs ups and likes there.
All right. Well, we better get rolling. Everybody's here to see our thoughts on Parx. What's happening in the first race, Terry?
All right, in that first race, it's a mile and 70 yards, and it's for let's see, it's for 3-year-old for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races since May 27th.
Yeah, and a mile and 70 yards at the Ben Salem, Pennsylvania track. You're looking for horses that have the right day up there. I do have the right day in there. Mile and 70 yards. You're looking for horses that have early speed. 29% of the time they go wire to wire. There's a small inside outside edge. So if you're on the inside, you have a little bit of better chance to win than you do on the outside. We do 1,000 simulations here, folks, using speed figures to get a sense of what fair odds might look like based upon how many times a horse won with the highest speed figure. We're looking for a simulation odds that are lower than the post time odds, creating value. Also, we're looking at how many times in our 1,000 simulations a horse runs a par speed figure or better for the conditions. You see here, the Spitesburg Gold, 31% chance to do that. Also take into account what the early pace might look like, because at Parx, we know early speed can dominate. This one here has a pretty good shot of having a lead at the quarter-mile marker. And then based upon our projected pace, which horses are most likely to get a pace that best fits their winning efforts? Terry, what do you see in the numbers?
Well, that 5 does show the most speed, but if that 5 has any problems at all. That 4 may just get to that quarter pole first. 7 has a nice little overlay from about 6-5 to 6-1. And as far as the par numbers go, the 6 and the 7 show some par numbers. And then as far as the C zones, 6, 4, 7, and 5 have the best C zone numbers.
Indeed. So we also do pace handicapping for those who like to do pace handicapping. We see here the horse that has the in-race advantage is the 5 as your lone E horse, right? He wants to pilot. EPs can pilot, co-pilot. Ps are your co-pilots. They don't want to be on the front. PCs are your flight attendants. They can be anywhere on the plane. The most versatile horse in horse racing. They can win from the front, the middle, or the back. And then your closers, of course. NCs are horses that have not been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line and up to the last 10 races. None of those are here today. Of course, first-time starters. 5 needs the lead, Terry. That's its story. Can it get the lead? It's got a shot to get the lead, but it's going to fight with that 6 horse, although 6 being a P might cede the lead early on to the 5. Late speed, as they come around the stretch, Tonella. Well, the 3 closers will be closing, but the 2 and the 7 have the most late punch. Finally, our top total pace horse, Terry, is the 7. Just Stay Home. Sometimes I feel like that. It's Speightster's Gold. Those two about 6 to 7 points better than the next. So maybe the 6-7 is where you can find your heavy dollar exacta.
Could be. I like that 6 Spicer's Gold is my first choice. Finished 3rd versus Tupper. In her last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 50% of the races when dropping a horse off a claim. And she switches to high percentage winning jockey. Number 3, Kentucky Pride, my second choice. Finished 5th as a favorite. Last out, but has trainer who wins 19% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back. Not a trace. The 5 is my 3rd pick. She drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. My long shot is Just Stay Home, the 7. She has finished in the money in 6 out of her last 7 races, winning 2 of those starts. I'm going to play a $1 daily double, the 3 and the 6 with the 2, 3, 5, and 8.
I am going to start off with that 6 horse 2, Terry, as my top selection. That one is Speightster's Gold, going to drop in class after running the top last race speed figure. And when you look at the fractions, they're a little bit quicker last time out. And all those pace numbers improved across the board. Number 7, Just Stay Home. It's a consistent performer, though this one's been off since July. Simulation favorite, and just if it runs its average race without any improvement, it fits here, no problem. Number 5, Not a Trace. Likely your pace setter, as we saw right here. It is the lone E, again, so that fits if it can get to the front and is dropping in class. Maybe accentuates its ability to get to the front. And then finally, the 4 horse, More Ransom. It was a tough call for me over your second choice to 3, Terry, but it's more consistent in terms of its performance. It's taking a decent drop in class, and the last race was better than it looks, running about a second faster than it did the prior start. I'm going to do a $10 pick 3. I'm going to go with the 6, 7 here in the first leg, and then I'm going to single the 2 and the 5 in the next. One thing I learned from Steve and from Frank was to go ahead and make bigger bets on horses you have a little bit more conviction on. We'll see if that can play out. Yep. So race number 1, Terry, it looks like they're loading up right now. Okay. Hey, with it being Cyber Monday, one of the things you can do is head on over to horseracingtoday.net. Click on where it says HRT gear. It'll take you to this page. You can see during the next week, you get 15% off. So you can support the show, get somebody in your family who loves horse racing, a nice Horse Racing Today hat, and then also free shipping. I have not seen them do money off and free shipping. All right, race 1 about to get started here, folks. I think everybody's lined up. Let's see what happens when the gates open. And they're off. Mr. Terry. All right. And right now, as our projected pace says, the 5 horse is your pace setter. You have the 4 running in a 2 path, the 6 between it and the 7 as they go through the opening turn. Saving ground on the rail is that 3 horse, Kentucky Pride, and all the way in the back, probably about 6 lengths off the lead, is the 2 horse, Tonella. They go around the bend. The 5 continues, Not a Trace, to be on the lead, although the 4 horse, More Ransom, keeping him to task right behind them after an opening quarter of 24. You do have the 3 and the 6 and the 7 as they're all closing in on the front runners. Right now, it does look like the 6 is going to take an interesting path between horses. The 7 is also going to try to go between horses. Interesting. The 3 is finding a good trip up the rail. The 2-horse continues to be your laggard as they go through the turn, opening half in a slow 49-3. It looks like it might be tough to catch those 2 horses there, Terry. It looks like they're going to get off to the lead. The only one that looks like it has a shot maybe is the 7, if the 5 and 4 falter, but I think it's going to be tough sledding. The 6-horse looks like it's about done, Terry.
Wow.
7 horses making up a ton of ground, though, there, my friend. He's going to cut that rail right there if the 5 doesn't cut him off. The 5 did not cut him off. Instead, the 5 bounces to 4, and the 7 runs right by them all. So the 7 is going to be your winner. 7, and then it looks like the 5 and the 4 are going to battle for second and third. Although the 4 horse is trying to get by, you do have the 3 horse trying to make a move up the rail. Your opener goes to the 7, 7, 4, and then a late rally from the 6 for third. So 7, 4, and 6. That's your opener, Mr. Terry, to start at Parx today. That 7-horse Terry was one of the 2 horses with a chance to run over a par figure and was our simulation favorite. And he went off at 7-2.
Nice start for you on your pick 3.
Well, provided I get the next 2, right? I'll make it to the last one, Terry, and then it'll finish third. And then my next pick will be the one that wins.
Yeah.
And it'll have like, I'll have 10 times the pick 3 that pays like $110 or something.
Yeah.
It's the way it's been going for me, man. I don't know. I'm like jinx my. Was I Attila the Hun in my previous life or something, Terry?
I don't know. Might have been.
I think I might have been. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe I was Al Capone. All right, I'm from Chicago, so that's possible. Race number 2, Terry. What are the stakes?
All right, it's a 5.5 furlongs claiming race, $10,000 claiming price. Purse $26,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since August 27th. Claiming races for $8,000 or less are not being considered, or which have never won 4 races.
So at 5.5 furlongs, this quick sprint, Terry, as you can imagine, at Parx, although we didn't see it in the opener there. So they did kind of walk through that opening half in 49. Early speed does win 45% of the time. Get to the front, stay to the front, go right into the winner's circle. Strong rail bias for pylon in here, Terry. 2 and 3 also get a bonus. 4 through 7, a little bit of a discount, a pretty good penalty, in fact. And 8 and out gets a little bit of a bump up. Let's go ahead and take a look at those all-important simulations again, Terry, and see, do we have any overlays here?
Yeah, we do. First of all, most of these horses show some kind of speed, but the 3, 4, and 7 have the most speed. 2 shows a nice overlay from about 4 to 5 to 4 to 1, and the 7's got a nice overlay from 5 to 2 to 6 to 1. Par numbers, the 2 and the 7 show nice par numbers, and all of them but the 3 have pretty decent C-zone numbers.
So looking at the 7 power agenda, got a decent C-zone, good chance to get on a lead, big par plus score, along with the overlay. Nice overlay here too with the 2. And a really good chance, almost 50% with one of the best C-zones. So should be comfortable, should put in an effort that can make it happen, Terry. In race number 2, our race shape here, again, the 7 and the 5 could have an advantage over the rest of the field, although all these are pretty versatile horses, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. So if the 7 and 5 go too slow, someone from this group could pressure. If they all go too fast, you have a lone closer over here in the 6 horse if it has the late legs to take advantage of it. Early on, does look like center mid Maddie, about a half a length faster than everybody else with the normal giddy up and go. So a little left arrow action from center mid Maddie. Looking at the late speed, as we mentioned, the 6 horse, if it was the one with a ton of late speed, but it's not, that belongs to the 2 horse, another PC, and the 4 horse right in there as well, as long with the 8. So a lot of those pressure closer types, the flight attendants, as we call them, could get really good trips here. It looks like that 2 horse, along with that big overlay, about 3/4 of a length advantage over everybody else in terms of total pace, Terry. On paper, it looks like it's the 2 horses race to win.
Yeah, that's what I see. I like that 2 as my first pick. Won 3 out of the last 6 races at Parx Racing. Number 5, Touchdown Mortgage, is my second choice. Won his last race at Delaware Park. Comes to try Parx Racing for the first time and has a trainer who wins 50% of the races when dropping a horse off of a claim. Number 8, JW's third Michi is my third pick. Finished third in his last race. Switches to high percentage winning jockey and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like as my long shot 3, center mid Maddie. He was only beaten 2 lengths versus similar in his last start. It should improve at the shorter distance as he has an early foot. I'm going to start off a pick 4 with the 2, 3, 5, and 8. And then I'm going to come with the 5, 6, then 1, 3, and then finish up with the 4, 6.
So Abstruse Allen says, Abstruse Allen, yes, says he's asking a question. How important is late pace when a horse drops back and trip? Centerman Maddie, for example, tons of early speed and dropping back. So let's go ahead and take a look at Centerman Maddie, the 3 horse here. Centerman Maddie dropping from 10,000, pretty much running at the same level. Does show some early speed here and then fades at the end. Let's take a look at some other numbers in here. 6 furlongs. One of the reasons why you see a little bit of a big, about a second slower versus the last time the horse ran it. And that was on a fast track relative to a sloppy. I would expect the sloppy track to be a little bit slower time in there. So a little bit of regression from that horse. You know, I think when you're up on the front, sometimes you stay up there, you can see the horse had a good one, was able to close out. Late pace is not that important, but the fractions are extremely important because if it's going too fast, then it doesn't have any late speed. It will fade like we saw right here in this race. And it's also at the same level. So these horses might keep center mid Maddie to task. If you can get to the lead and stay on the lead, you know, carry that lead into the stretch, it has a pretty good shot. You can see most of the time when this horse has done well, it's been up front. So it should be up front today. It's where it wants to be. Has a chance, Terry, I think, to do all right. I personally went with the 2 horse. Perfect Silent Cat does have the top total pace in the race. Won the last 2 times the horse came off the bench with some time in the barn like today and has the strongest par plus. Living Water, the 4, ran the top last race speed figure, but I'm not so sure that cutting back a little bit of distance helps here. Power Agenda, that's 7, going to drop in class. This one is the most dangerous when it gets on the lead, has a good shot to be on the front today. Then finally, that Centerman Maddie did run better fractions last time out, despite going a little bit longer, and those fractions are in the beginning. Sorry, you see here that it ran 5.5 furlongs. And you can see it ran 22-1 and then 45-3, despite the fact that it went a half furlong longer. And when you look at the 5 furlong mark, still a little bit quicker too. Could just be the level of competition. I cut back in class here. I'm cut back in distance. I think that's what you're talking about. I do think could make a difference for Centerman Maddie, which is why I have it 4th. I think it's got a good shot to do well in there. I just singled the 2 because I wanted to have the pick 3 10 times if I get to my next horse in race number 5, Terry. But before that, I like a pick 4 here. I'm going to single the 2. I'm going to single the 5, the 1, 2, 3 with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go ahead and talk about race number 3. And that's why I didn't go much deeper in race number 2. What do we got here?
All right. This is a 7 furlong race, claiming race of $12,500 claiming price, purse $23,000. For 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 3 races.
Indeed. 7 furlongs, the kind of horse that typically gets the job done, is a stalker. But about 3 out of 10 still manage to go wire to wire. The most obvious post position bias is at 7 furlongs. There's a very strong inside-out bias. The closer you are to the rail, the better off you are. Terry, what do we see once again in all of our simulations here?
Well, as you can see, that 5 shows lots of speed, but the 4 and the 7 also have a little bit of speed. So, but I really believe that 5 is going to get that quarter pole first if it gets a good break. The 1 has an overlay of from 3-1 to 6-1. The 2 goes from about 5-2 to 6-1, and the 5 has an overlay of 3-1 to about 9-2. As far as par numbers go, the 2, 1, 5, and 7 show some par numbers, and then all of them, but the 2 and 3 have decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, some pretty strong ones. Again, the 5 horse here, Terry. Big chance to be on the front. Strong C-zone. We've seen that combination. Very likely to run a par or better figure, or likely, not very likely, and a little bit of an overlay. 3 for 3 on the simulations. Our race shape, the 5 is also a lone EP horse. We like those for sure. The 1 and 6 go too fast. The 1 could sit right off their tails. If they go too slow, he can take the lead. And if you see here, Terry, he might go straight to the front. He has a 7-point early pace advantage. That puts him about 1.25, 1.5 lengths ahead of the rest of the field, just at his normal early speed. Does have enough late pace to keep contending as the race goes on, although or Murta code, the closer, with a really strong late pace, though. Could be pretty far off the pace, though, in there. The one horse, one of the early types, if it can get to the lead, might be one of those horses that's difficult to pass if you can't catch them. Our top total pace horse is Faith, though, by a length over Long-Legged Boy and Big John and Quickening, then a 10-point gap down. So it looks to me like the 1, 4, 5, and 7, it makes for a good exacta and trifecta box, Terry. What do you think?
Well, I like that 5 as my top pick. Faith, he ran second versus Tougher in his last race as a favorite, but he has a trainer win 17% of the races. When bringing back a beaten favorite to race again, drops in class and has his best start speed as fast as among today's starters. Sal and Louis, the 6 is my second choice, ran second versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class, has a trainer wins 23% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route to a sprint. Number 4, Big John's my third
Check
pick.
out, since we went live, Terry, the 4 is scratched.
Oh, has it?
So I'm going to go. Who do you have in its place? While you talk about them, I'll make some adjustments on the fly here.
I'm going to make the 7 as my third pick, and I'm going to make the 2 as the long shot.
All right, so 7-2 in race number 3. All right, Terry, you're going to see that change right about now. All right, and then go on.
Okay, so the 7's my long shot, Quickening. He finished third versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class today, and has a jockey who in the last 7 days have been in the money 4 out of 8 starts with 2 wins. And then that 2 is going to be my long shot. And let me look at that real quick. So the 2, here's my notes. Yeah, he's got a high percentage winning jockey. He just won his last race at Parx Racing. And his best dirt speed is close to this average winning speed here.
So, Terry, in your pick 4, do you have the 4 back here in your pick 4?
I don't think so, no.
No, you don't. All right, so no changes there. I like the 5 horse. I updated our picks so they all reflect the accurate picks. I like the 5 horse in here too, Terry. This is my I'm singling this one in my pick 3 and in my pick 4, and I'm going to put on top of it a $5 exacta key with the 1 over to 6-7. Strong chance to be on the lead. We see that. We saw that both here and in the pace setup. Top C-zone scorer in the race, tied for it anyway, and a strong par plus. Number 4, Big John is not going to race, so we're going to get rid of that one. We have the Quickening, the 7 horse. Now it slides into that second spot for me. This one's going to be closing late. It gets a little bit better from race to race to race. Sal and Louis, the 6 horse, is the top last race speed figure runner and going to drop in class. I see that combination win frequently enough to not overlook it. Then finally, Long-Legged Boy does have a strong par plus score relative to the rest of the horses in this field, is a little bit of an overlay according to our simulation odds, and also tied for the top C-zone score. $5 exacta key for me, the 5 over the 167. So the 5 horse is going to hold the key to my day, Terry. If the 5 horse wins and the 2 horse wins this next race, I will have a fantastic start.
Yeah, you sure will.
Well, hopefully that plays out like that. That's the plan. And like the A-team says, we love it when a plan goes according to plan or something.
That's
like
right.
That they said. Race 4, Terry, what's up?
Okay, in that race, it's a 6.5 furlong. It's a claiming race, $4,000 claiming price, and it's for fillies and 2-year-olds which have started for $40,000 or less. It's a $40,000 claiming race, and which have never won 2 races, or claiming price of $40,000, which have never won 2 races.
Yeah, it's an optional claim. You can see the 1 horse in here. No $40,000. Is anybody in here for a price? Yes, the Eloper is in for a price. 6.5 furlongs. Our profile of a winner favors early speed. About a little less than a third of them do go wire to wire. Get a little bit of rail bonus. So Diane's Merlot. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a discount. Terry, once again, maybe we find some value in the simulations.
Yeah, the 2 only has about the only real speed in here, although that 1 shows a little bit too in the 5. The 1 has a small overlay, not much at all. It's almost the same as the 3. Also has a really nice overlay from about 2 to 5 to 3 to 1 in the morning line. The 1 shows a nice par number compared to the rest of them. All of them but the 3 have pretty darn good zone numbers.
Yeah, looking at the one horse, Diane's Marlowe, fair odds, best only par plus score, probably sits second or third, and then a great, decent C zone, third best in the field. Our worksheet tells us about that one horse. A bunch of these horses want to be on the front, Terry. The three horse could be the one sitting in the catbird seat right here, letting all these go out to, press the lead. The four horse Eloper, this one is not been within 5 lengths of the leader in up to its last 10 races. Just looking at it, I mean, the horse with the tactical advantage in here, Terry, is the 3. Although on the early speed front, it does look like that 2 horse Niesa, about a 1.25 length lead at the quarter mile marker, according to its early pace. But one misstep in any one of these can be right on its tail or in the front. I think if you're going to be here, you're going to want some late speed. Diane's Merlot does have that late speed, probably sits second and third, like we mentioned up in there, tied with the 3 horse with the top total pace figures. You have a little bit of a gap down, about 13 points. So that means this race, Terry, really should come down to the 1 or the 3 if pace matters. Terry, what do you think?
Well, I like the 1, Diane's Mellow. She won her last race by a whopping 7 lengths. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Full Moon Magic, the 3 is my second choice, won her last race at Parx Racing. Switches to high percentage winning jockey and has a trainer win 17% of the races he has an entry in of the sprint races. And then number 2 is my third choice. Her early running style will help her chances, and she's got a nice bullet workout on November 19th. Number 4, Eloper, is my long shot, finished third versus similar to last race. I'm going to play a 50 set pick 4. I'm going to use the 1-3 with the 4-6 with the 6-7 and finish it up with a 1-6, 7, and 10.
Our man Christopher D'Souza back in race number 4. He likes the 2 horse with all that speed to win, with the 3 and the 5 in an exacta and trifecta box. Chris, man, where you been? Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving along with everybody else. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button while you're here on YouTube, and then also the bell so when we go live, you don't miss any of our fantastic content. They say only 1 in 10 people hit the subscribe button. So help us get to 10,000 by not being in the 9. Be special. Be part of the 1. I like the 1 horse in here too, Terry. The Diane's Merlot did show some major improvement in its second career start, producing a top last race speed figure, 5 points better than the next closest horse. Again, Andrew Breyer says if it's 3 or clear from that horse, you have to have in your picks, unless there's something wrong with it. Full Moon Magic, the other horse that's about 13 points better than the rest on the total pace, is the most consistent performer in the field. And as we mentioned, as the lone P, could get the preferred trip today. Number 2, Niesa, maybe has too much early speed over the rest of these horses to overcome. Then finally, Shelby, shortstop. First time this horse ran at Parx, coming in from Emerald Downs, didn't really go very well. I don't know if it maybe just didn't like the surface at first, but since then has a bullet workout. So maybe a horse that better's kind of like last time out on that West Coast to East Coast trip performs better. Maybe a little bit of jet lag or something last time out, Terry. Finally adjusted to the new time zone. How much time do we have for race number 5, my friend?
Let me see here. We've got 7 minutes.
Race number 2, race number 5. Where the hell am I at? We're going to do race number 5. All right. Well, we got enough time to do that, Terry. So let's get cracking.
All right. It's a 6 furlongs claiming race, $5,000 claiming price, purse of $18,000. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won 2 races since May 27th.
6 furlongs, probably the most common distance at Parx. I can recite this one without even looking at it. About 33% of the time, the horses go wire to wire. There is a stalker's bias. Probably want to sit second, third, fourth, somewhere in that range. Post positions 1 through 7. They're a tiny bit, but almost close to fair, but a tiny bit under par. You get a little bit of bonus if you wear the 8 or higher, Terry. In race number 5, once again, we've gone through all that work. The 3-horse Cup of Life is out. Might have had an impact on the early pace, but not.
Yep. Well, several of these show some speed, but the 4, 1, and 5 have the most. The 8 shows an overlay from about, what's that? 4 to 5 to 3 to 5, 4 to 5 to 7 to 2. And then the par number 8 also has the only par number in there. And then all of them have some C-zone numbers and pretty decent ones too.
Yeah, looking at that 8-horse, Terry, I mean, you have him as your third pick or her, and you got that strong par plus with the strong overlay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be one that I wish I didn't overlook when my trifecta is done. Now, if he runs third where you have him, I'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
Our pace set up for the 5th race in the middle of a 10-race card, Terry. Again, this one's kind of tilted a little bit to the left, so a little bit of early speed in there. A couple of Sesame Street horses with the 4, 9, and 8. PC types, pretty versatile. When I look at this, I probably want to be in the middle here somewhere. Early speed, the 1, 5, or 7 are kind of lead dependent. It looks like of those, the 1 does have the most early speed. I think the 1 goes to the lead. The 4 gets good positioning along with the 2. We'll see if that's how it plays out. At the end of the race, that Wicked Jane shouldn't be all that far off the speed. Does have a pretty solid late pace advantage, about a length over Miss Alex. Our total pace horse, that belongs to the 6. Reiterate, and there's that 8-horse again, Terry. Wicked Jane. Maybe that's the one that should be at the top of our picks instead of what we have.
That could be, yeah. I like that 6 Relitate. She likes Parx racing, finishing in the money 60% of the races, win 11% of those starts, and likes the distance, spin the money 62% of the races, winning 15%. The 4 is my second choice. She drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 32% of the races when dropping a horse down 2+ classes, and has a high percentage winning jockey. The 8 you referred to, Wicked Jane, is my third choice, finished third versus similar in her last race. And then that 5 is my long shot. Her early speed running style will help her chances and at this shorter distance, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. No bet for me in this race.
I like the 4-horse, Terry. I'm going to put that one at the top of my ticket, just reversing order with you. Pontiffany is that lone EP horse. Going to drop multiple classes, a good winning angle for the trainer. That last race might not look so good on paper, but if you dig through the numbers, it was better than it appears. Ran about a second faster than it did in its prior start. Reiterate, the 6-horse is your top total pace horse, top last race speed figure on top of that, and one that you're going to have to beat because it is a very consistent performer. Perfect Mistress, last time out, showed some improvement in the middle of the race. More importantly, a lot more at the end of the race, Terry. That shows me a horse that's coming into form. Finally, the 5-horse, Gias Fuego, did hold its speed longer last time, despite running extra distance. I think the cutback today is the key. 2, 4, 6 over to 4, 6 over to 2, 4, 5, 6, and then the 8, Wicked Jane, getting into my picks there as well. The back end of the trifecta. I think we have about, what, 3 minutes, Terry?
Yeah.
I think we can do a race in 3 minutes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, if we get going here.
All right. Well, get to work.
All right. So this is a 1 mile and 70 yards, a claiming price $25,000, $32,000 purse. 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since August 27th, claiming races for $16,000 or less, not considered, or which have never won 4 races.
And in the opener, we did see that the speed got to the front, and then that 7 ran them down, Terry. But overall, early speed does okay. 30% of the time, horses go wire to wire. There is a small inside to outside advantage, Terry, but not a big deal killer or deal maker either way. In race number 6, what do the simulations share with you? Look, everybody but the 6 has a shot to get to.
That's absolutely right. They all have a shot but the 6. So anybody's guess who gets that quarter pole first. The 2 has an overlay from about 7-2 to 5-1. The 5 has an overlay from about 4-5 to 2-1. The 7 has a very small overlay from 9-2 to 5-1. Par numbers, the 5 and the 2 show some par numbers, and also the 3 outside horses have the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, a nice overlay with a strong par plus score, maybe fast break and cash. Could be a potential single maybe in there, Terry. He has also a EP type in there as well. A little bit of speed. This one tilts a little more middle back, although PC types can go anywhere. So it looks just like from the shape, a competitive setup. Looking at the early speed Tycoon, the 1 horse wants to be on the lead, should be up there. Get a little bit of pressure from the PC 7, Spites to Red. So maybe a little left arrow action out of Spites to Red. Our horse with the most late speed is that 6 horse, so PC type under the radar, but has a little bit of a disadvantage early on. Could be 3 lengths off, make about a length and a half up with its late speed. Going to have to tuck in a little closer than usual today. Fast breaking cash, about 4 points clear of Brilliant Chase. Fast breaking cash, Terry, top total pace, top overlay, top par plus. Why is it going to lose to the 6?
Well, I like the 6 because he finished third versus similar in his last race. He has trainer Jamie Ness and jockey Ruben Silveira, which is a really good combination. Number 7, Spicer's Red, my second choice. Won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last race speed rating, tied with another horse. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Fast Break and Cash, the 5 is my third pick. He's won 3 out of the last 6 starts, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Dreaming of Jerry is my long shot. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among starters. Actually tied with the 7. No bet for me in this race.
Real quick for me, I got the 5 Fast Break and Cash. That is your lone EP type. Sim favorite as well. Strongest par plus, start top total pace. Under the radar, as you mentioned, Ness and Silveira. This one's going to be trucking late, Terry, and at times has some superior late pace numbers, like high level stakes at the end. Just the front's pretty bad. Brilliant Chase, maybe the most back class in this field for the 2 horse. Much better early through the first half mile last time out, and all the pace numbers improved. Finally, the 7 did tie for the top last race speed figure. Does have better race internals from start to finish in the last, and of course, Paco Lopez is going to ride that bad boy, and you know Paco won't let you pass him in the lane if he has the lead. I'm going to do trifecta 2, 5, 6, 5, 6, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to go to race number 2, Terry. And the Rock. We did that just in time. The 6 horse, We Ready, getting a slow break right there. The 3 horse, Centerman Maddie, the one that has gone to the lead. The 4 horse is now, well, no, on the outside of the 4. It looks like the 5 is right in there as well. As they go through the beginning part of the race, the 3 is your leader. 1 horse on the rail. The 5 horse, it looks like the 7 on the outside. And then the 8, my 2 horse that I singled, Terry, is kind of off there. 22 and 4. So we're going to need to see a closer to catch that Centerman Maddie. Let's see if that cutback for Altruce Allen pays off. They go through the opening quarter in 22 and 4, not the fastest of times, so they probably still all have a chance there. Doesn't look too good for the 2 right now. Terry is going to have to find that rail and show some late legs. Probably not going to get there. The 3 horse continues to be your leader. As they come down the stretch, it does look to me like the 4 horse right now is the one that's moving the best. He's probably going to overtake the 3, although on the inside there, you do have the, I don't know if the 2 can squeeze through there and find its legs. It might have a shot, but I don't think so. It's going to go 4, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, Terry. Neither one of us had pylon in there.
Wow.
Did have the strong C zones in there, Terry. What else did the pylon show us? I think in the,
I don't know.
I think
well,
in the
that
race
horse is 28 to 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did have a little bit of a chance to be on the early speed there. Let's go back and look at the 1 horse in race number 2. Pylon. It did have the rail advantage at 5.5 furlongs, Terry. And you did look, it did show some speed right here, right? Speed. When it got towards the lead, it did all right. Stayed on the lead, hugged that rail. Yeah, workout was okay in there. First up record for the trainer, 90 days away. 0 for 6. I mean, kind of a tough call there overall, but did manage to pull it off, Terry.
Yeah, he sure did. So
in horse racing, you know, that's just the horse beating you, right?
It is. Can't do anything about it when it happens. So longest shot on the board for that race.
As Charles says, if I handicapped it 100 times, I would have picked it once.
Yeah.
All right, race 7, Terry, is an interesting one. 6 furlongs in here for a maiden special weight race. A lot of youngsters in here.
It sure is. It's a maiden maiden $50,000 race. First $50,000. It's just for maidens 2-year-olds.
Yes, and anything can happen race for sure, right?
That's right.
Yes, indeed. So because there are so many first-time starters in here, Terry, and horses with limited experience, it didn't make any sense to do any simulations for race number 7. So this is just a straight-up handicapping. And despite the fact that a lot of these horses haven't done anything, we both ended up on the top horse being the same.
That's right. I like that one. First-time starter whose dam has 1 winner from 1 starter. Sire wins 22% of the races with first-time starters, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 6, Lonesome Boys, my second pick. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 10, Party at Sam's is my third choice. Has an early foot and has a high percentage winning jockey. And then that 7 is my long shot, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey who in the last 7 days have been in the money 6 out of 13 starts with 4 wins. And I'm going to play a 50-cent pick four, 1-6-10 with the 5-7, with the 1-2-5-8, with the 1-4-5-9.
I'm going to go with the one horse too. Maximus Meridius does have some good workouts for trainer Robert Reed, who wins first time starters at a pretty good number, 23%. That's probably tops in the field. It is tops in the field. So if our mama only has one baby, but that baby did win. So limited breeding says the breeding is fine. Choco. Think Choco. Maybe, I don't know. This one, Mama makes more winners, Terry. Trainer Claudio Gonzalez wins at 19% the first time around the track. The new horse, that's a good number. And the workouts are decent and consistent. Number 6, Lonesome Boy. By far the best speed numbers for any of the experienced horses. And last time out, the horse might have won. Had to steady a couple times in the course of the race, but still managed to put up the best speed figure by far. And then finally, the 2-horse Bernie's Mitts. The breeding is there. Their works are there. But trainer Carlos Caban, probably, yeah, I'm going to go with Caban. Just one first-time starter in all of 2023. That one didn't win, so that record is kind of tough to tell how he does with the first-timers. But according to the breeding and the workouts, it might be a little bit of a price here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 to start my pick for Terry. I'm going to single the 5 in that next leg with the 2, 5, and then the 3, 4, 7, and the 8. So pick 4 that rests upon race number 8 for me, Terry, which is the one we're going to do next. What's happening there? And maybe we can figure out why I singled that 5.
All right. Well, we're going to have another mile and 70-yard race. It's an allowance race, $8,000, purse of $30,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $8,000 or less since November 27th, 2021.
Yeah, a little while ago. Mile and 70 yards. You're looking at a horse with early speed, 3 out of 10, approximately go wire to wire. A little bit of an edge to the inside horses over the outside horses. Terry got a couple scratches here that might impact the speed here. A couple of them that we're going to show some pace aren't going to run today.
Yeah, well, most of them show some speed, but the 3 shows the most speed, followed up by the 5. The 7 has an overlay of about 8 to 5 to 7 to 2. The 9 has an overlay of from 5 to 2 to 9 to 2. As far as the par numbers go, the 7 and the 9 have the only par numbers there. The 6, 7, 2, and 5 show the best C-zone numbers.
Okay, and let's take a look at our pace setup for race number 8, Terry. As we take a look at that, everything has gone, to the middle back or not. So the 3 of the 5, those 2 should have a little bit of an edge in terms of the early speed, especially if they can get to the front. It does look like the 5 of those 2 has a shot. The 6-horse, Touring Marianne, the PC type, it doesn't have to be patient. If they go too slow, it can find its way towards the front. Gotta like that. Then looking here at the late speed, Terry, that does belong to the 2-horse. You want to try to pronounce that one?
Salagadugula.
Abadel won't be too far behind. Total pace says the 6-horse is your winner. One quick thing, Terry, I got to go back to race number 7 real quick. I had the 5-horse in here. This is actually supposed to be the 7-horse, that single, not the 5. I don't know why I put the 5 in there, but I did. You can see here that the 5-horse is indeed my top pick here. All right, Terry, what do you see in terms of your picks in race number 8?
Well, I like Abadel, number 7. She has finished in the money in her last 7 races and won 4 of those races, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. She is my best bet of the day. And then I like number 5, If I Had a Chance, as my second choice, finished in the money in 8 out of her last 10 races, winning 3 of those starts. And she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Touring Marianne is the 6th, my third choice, won her last race at Penn National, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, unadulterated. Number 9 is my long shot, finished 3rd versus similar to last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. And this trainer wins 20% of the route races he has a horse entered in. And her best start speed is fast among today's starters. I'm going to take the rest of my money, bet $10 to win on the 7-horse, and then a $1 exacta box 5-7.
I also like that 7-horse. I went back and changed my thing, although I didn't change my picks, my pick 4. To single that 7-2, Terry, is your sim favorite. Top par plus horse, tie for the top C-zone. 3 consecutive speed number increases. Again, our good friend Barry Meadows in his book, The Skeptical Handicapper. 3 consecutive speed figure increases is a angle that wins at 15% or more. Top last race speed figure by 6 points. There's Andrew Byer. So a lot of things playing in Abadell's favor. Touring Marianne, wire to wire in its last race. Chance to be on the lead again here today, as we see in the pace numbers, but it's not necessary because the horse can win from off the pace as well. If I Had a Chance is running at the right distance for this one. 6 out of 7 times it collected a check in the trifecta at the distance. And of course, this one was better across the board from all of its race internals last out. And then finally, Scott Alaya was a tough call for me over your 9 horse at 3, but strong chance to be on the lead here, especially with all these other horses scratching out. Does have a better post position according to the track bias. And instead of 3 consecutive speed figure increases, you can add one to that. 4 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. So absolutely trending in the right direction. 5, 6, 7 over the 6, 7 over the 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. That is my trifecta. 2 races to go, Terry. Opener leg to the late double is race number 9. What are the stakes again?
It's another mile and 70 yards, but this time it's an optional claiming race. $35,000 claiming price. You see Helium there, the number 1 horse is entered for $35,000 claiming. Purse is $52,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred, or which have never won 3 races, or claiming price of $35,000.
And again, mile 70 yards. Horses with speed do well. 3 out of 10 go wire to wire. A little bit of an inside edge to the inside horses like Helium. That's in for a price. Could take advantage of a little bit of a post position edge. In race number 9, Terry, again, another race where most of the horses have some chance to get to the lead. Pretty competitive early.
It is. Several of them have speed, but the 7, 5, 4, and 2 show the most speed. 2 has a very small overlay from just over 3 to 1 to 7 to 2. The 5 shows an overlay of about almost 5 to 2 to 4 to 1. And the 7 has an overlay from 4 to 1 to 6 to 1. Several of them have par numbers in here, and they're all pretty close to each other. All but the 3 and 4 have pretty darn decent season numbers.
So just taking squaring up with all the data here, this looks like an extremely competitive race, Terry.
Yeah,
in
it is.
Race 9. Our race shape tells us again. Look at that, very competitive. Well, very well balanced. Every horse should get a trip that it wants. Simovic, this one wants to be on the lead. If it doesn't get the lead, could be a little bit struggling. Now it looks like it's middle of the pack horse there, Terry. Again, a lot of them showing some early pace. So really competitive between these 5 horses here. Any one of them could be on the front. I would expect them to send the 2 as it is an E-horse, probably a little bit more lead dependent than the others. Our late pace road trip to nowhere. That is an EP horse, Terry. Look at that, sitting right behind that 2 horse there. Ooh, that one should get an excellent trip. Going to be close to the front. Most late pace, probably going to grade out as our top total pace horse. It does by 3 points. But again, you got 5 horses in here that are all within a step or 2 of each other. A bump, a missed break, a little bit of an inside-outside trip going wide. The difference between those, Terry. Competitive race, but we both ended up with the 5 somehow on top.
Yeah, but this is a very competitive race. If I had more budget, I would have thrown more in my pick 4. But anyway, the 5 road trip to nowhere is my top 5th. Finished 3rd in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Helium, the 1 is second choice, ran 2nd in his last race. The Rail Post is winning at a 19 or 18% clip, has a high percentage winning trainer, and switches to high percentage winning jockey. Number 2, Smithovich, I guess. Yeah. Simovic, yeah, okay. Finished 4th as a favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 30% of the races when beating the favorite back again. And his race best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 8, Roan Mountains, my long shot. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning jockey, and he has a highest speed figure at today's distance. I'm out of money, so no bet for me.
It's all out of money, all out of hope. Looks like self-destruction. I got that 5 horse road trip to nowhere too, Terry, as my top selection in here. This one is considerably quicker through its first half mile last out. The resume says expected to improve on that one in the second start after a layoff. Simovic, this horse loves to finish second at Parx, Terry. Ran there 9 times, has 1 win, but 6 times finished second. So why not put it second, right? Yeah. It is your lone E-horse and has a small chance to be on the lead today. I think it gets to the lead, fades, finishes second. Helium, decent work between races, and Paco Lopez on board. And you know his horse will get wide down the lane if he has the lead. But interestingly, at the distance, the horse has run 8 times, and every single time finished on the podium with either a gold, silver, or bronze medal. Finally, Rich's Way, Terry. Again, it's all in the name, except Rich's Way is a closer. If I was a horse, I'd be a front runner, Terry. I got the 1-2-5 with the 2-5 with the 1-2-5-6-9. Don't you think, like, from like a horse racing standpoint, going wire to wire is like the sexiest way to win, so to speak?
Oh yeah, I like that. It's my favorite way to win a race.
Yeah, because you're never behind, right?
That's right.
Yeah, as long as it stays up in front, there's no doubt. You feel good about that, right?
That's
You never
right.
you never have to worry until the horse starts to look at eye to eye, and then you're like, oh, damn it, I lost. All right, last race of the day today to close out the late pick 4, the late double, the late pick 3. Terry, 6.5 furlongs.
Yeah, they're shortening up to 6.5 furlongs. It's a claiming race, $7,500 claiming price. First, 21,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. Pretty simple.
Yes, indeed, making it easy for Terry to close the show. Hopefully, we hit our pick 4s here. Early speed does win at 6.5 furlongs. About 29% of the time they go wire to wire. A little bit of rail bump for Indy Bound. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a discount. No deal makers or breakers in the 6.5 from a post position standpoint, Terry. Final time today, we'll take a look at all the simulations in a 10-horse field. These numbers might tell us something.
Yeah, the 1, 4, and 5 have the most speed in here, although there's a couple others that have some speed. 7 has an overlay of from 4-1 to a nice 12-1, and the 8 goes from an overlay of 2-1 to a nice 6-1. Par numbers, the 5 and the 7 have par numbers, but they're very low. And then all but the 3 have pretty darn decent C-zone numbers.
Yeah, again, just looking at the C-zone in here and the par plus and the speed, and looks like, again, another competitive race to close out. And I think that's probably pretty true because really none of these horses showed much in any of their races so far. Looking at this race shape, the 1 and the 2, they might have the best trips in here, Terry, because you got a whole bunch up on the front that are looking like they're the dependent. And then of those, Indy Bound does look like it has the most early speed. The 5 horse in there too, a closer that can move forward. That's your left arrow horse in there, Terry. You got to keep an eye on that. Of the front runners, it does look like the 7, Show Them the Lights, and Boys and Bullets are the most likely to get out of the front. Late speed, as they're coming home, and I do think that'll factor into this race. Sharp Sensation, though, he's an E-type, going to be way off the pace. Union Reward, another one that's probably going to be off the pace, but a little bit closer. Show Them the Lights of the speed horse. Looks like that's the one that might get towards the front and stay at the front. Our top total pace horse is Show Them the Lights, the 7-horse Terry. Again, all the way down to here. I mean, it's a pretty competitive race. Maybe Show Them the Lights and the 8-horse have a little bit of an advantage over the rest. But again, I think a pretty wide open race based upon conditions and the quality of the field.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I use 4 in here again. And again, if I had more budget, I would have added more. I like the 4 Boys and Bullets as my first pick. She ran 4th after having trouble during the race and still received the highest last race speed rating. Chip's Friend, the 9, is my second choice, finished 9th after experiencing trouble. So I'll ignore it as she won the prior race at today's distance and should improve at the shorter distance going back to that distance. Number 1, Indy Bound is my third choice. Her best start speed is fastest than the average winning speed. And then Bronx Tail, the 5, is my long shot. Can improve while returning to a sprint. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters and has a good workout on November 17th. I'm out of money, so no bet for me.
I have the 4-horse Terry to close out the final race, like you, Boys and Bullets. A little bit of alliteration there. Did have some, I don't know, I think they have 3, though, to be an alliteration, but maybe. The English teacher, Carol, can help us with that one. Did have some in-race troubles last time out, but still managed to score the top last race speed figure. By that bare minimum, 3 points more than the next closest horse. Show Them the Lights. It is a tricky past performances if you look at through them, Terry. It looks like the horse just ran a crappy race, but if you look through the times, it actually ran a little bit faster. And I think the cutback in distance could be a difference maker for Show Them the Lights, which is also the top total pace horse. Union Reward, the 8-horse, is your simulation favorite in there, Terry. You got to like that. Dropping in class, got to like that. and at Parx has done some work anyway. Finally, Cowboy Jim, the 3-horse, going to run at the lowest level of its career. So facing the easiest competition. Again, a field that really hasn't done much in there. And then I'm going to do a trifecta, 4, 7, 8, over to 4, 7, over to 3, 4, 7, 8, and 10 to close out my card for today. Christopher D'Souza, rewinding back to race number 9, says the 7-horse, Jamie Dreams, is the winner and his play of the day, and a horse that neither one of us have anywhere. So I just want to say thank you for jinxing us, Christopher. I appreciate that. I'm sure Terry does as well.
Yeah.
Seems like anytime Chris picks a horse that we don't have, it wins.
It wins. Yeah.
Every single time. So
yeah,
you could throw out all the other horses, just load up on that 7, Jamie Dreams, and you're going to go home a winner. I want to say thank you to Philip Perkins, Foudy, Muhammadu, Bengali, Nassar, Sammy Cliff, Giannis for the thumbs up on Facebook. We appreciate that. If you're smart like they are, you'll give us a thumbs up too on Facebook or on YouTube. I would tell you who gave us a thumbs up on YouTube, but they don't share that information with us. Again, Terry, if they haven't done so, what's the smartest thing that anybody can do today?
Subscribe to YouTube, hit the little bell so you get notified of all of our different programs. We have lots of them, not only during the day, but some at evenings. Give us a thumbs up and a like there. Go ahead and copy the link and send it to all your friends and relatives and people that you know. And then go to X and Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and give us a thumbs up and a like there. It helps with our algorithms.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. Terry and I will be back tomorrow for Parx, same bat time. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, today, I know it's a little bit of a slow day for that nice big double there for Christopher D'Souza. Kind of a slow day of racing, only 4 tracks running today. But if you head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet, Mahoning Valley is free. But Zia Park today, 10 races, 8 of them are stakes races with at least $150,000 purses. So you're going to probably get some good money pools over there. Make sure you get your picks from Guaranteed Tip Sheet. I know we did some great handicapping there. Hopefully there's some good long shots in our picks, some nice short prices in there too. So a little bit of everything. And we've done okay there of late, clearing $1,000 in potential payouts in 6 of the last 7 days. Yesterday was kind of a tougher day there, but they were all quarter horse races, and anything can happen with that stuff, Terry. All right, my man.
Yep.
One final thing. It is Cyber Monday again over at horseracingtoday.net. Hit on HRT gear. You get 15% off plus free shipping. And there's somebody in your horse racing family that would love to have a number 3 shirt that they can match with their baby blues, like Terry has done. And again, tonight, Horse Center, 8 p.m. with our guest Gavin Ashton coming over from the Great Britain, England area, England area. Going to talk all about his journey from there to here. Terry, one last time, these are all of our final picks for today. Any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
Well, just that everybody be safe and careful. Have a great day, rest of the week. And if no matter what you're doing, I hope you are successful in life.
Yes, no matter what you're doing on this Monday. Thank you for sharing it, first of all, with Terry and I. We appreciate your time. We know it's the most valuable commodity everybody has. Before we get together again, we certainly hope that everything that you do is blessed with God's favor and grace, no matter what you're doing for the rest of this Monday, that every single thing that you do ends up in
the winner's circle.
Again, yes. Thanks for joining us today. Look forward to spending some time together again tomorrow. Have a great Monday.